that when you play against it, you think, I'm going to be here till Christmas.
There's that back-breaking coordinated barrage. We talked about that, and it's just going to be overwhelming. So that's going to take a significant chunk out of Wafo life. And again, despite starting out on the right foot and with John not pulling the land that he needed, Guillaume Wafo already on his backpedaling. He's just not having it work out for him.
All right, well, we've got a little story for you down from on the floor. Our man with the plan, it's Scott Johns. So, Scott, what have you got for us from down on the floor?
Hey, guys, can you hear me right there?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
I had the pleasure of watching this great battle on the back table here between Mario Pasquale and Mike Rohn. This, as you saw, went a long time. It went back and forth. Rohn looked like he had complete control at one point, getting to do the whole elemental plaything suite with Sage of Fables and Flamekin Spitfire and Smoke Raider, all kinds of great things going. It looked like he was all set. Thundercloud Shaman came down, broke all of his toys.
That's
Suddenly, Mike Rohn is playing defense. He has to Whirlpool Whelm another creature to try and stay alive. He's desperately trying to get back into the game. The Whirlpool Whelm reveals nothing important on his side, and a Chandra Nalar sitting on top of the deck across from him.
No.
So, needless to say, that one is now 1-0 Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Italian goes up 1-0 over Mike Rohn. Thanks for that, Scott. Great stuff. And he'll keep bringing us all the updates from the back tables. You will not miss a thing here on Super Sunday #1 of 2008.
Ooh, back in our feature match, John just managed a monstrous turn. He won the kinship off the Zephyr-Knot.
And we're done.
Yep, had a Distant Melody for 6 cards. That gave him the Weizenson he needed to put into play for free with the preeminent captain into combat. That was just
Something's popping.
A monster.
Yeah, and out in the crowd there, as V. Moshevitz, amongst others, just looked at that and went, oh boy,
yeah.
Thank you very much. So 2-0 to Finkel there. We'll stick with this for one more game, see if Wafo can get back into the match. Then we'll head for some of the other matches that are still going on, still early in most of those. Yeah, now, if you're Wafo, what are you thinking? You've gone 1-0 down when there wasn't a great start. You've gone 2-0 down when there was a pretty hideous start. Where do you go? Where do you find the will? As a great player, you really understand what's going on. You can't lie to yourself and say, oh, I was just really unlucky. I don't know how I lost those two. He knows exactly how he lost those first two. So where do you find 3 wins if you're Guillaume Wafo?
Well, right now he's got his back up against the wall for sure, and he's. I'd be surprised to see if he reaches to a sideboard. It doesn't look like it. But I think you just have to dig down deep and just come up and say, you know what, I'm here to play. We got our back against the wall, but we're professionals and we just work with it and do what we can. You know, he might, to be honest, he might be thinking about what he's going to play in Hollywood right now at this point in time with the matchup and the games he's down. But I'm sure he's going to pull it together and try to put up a fight for the third game. You know,
Guillaume Wafo is one of what I might call the few true pros on the pro circuit. I had a great chance to sit with him at the Magic Invitational earlier last year, and I said, okay, now come on, Guillaume, you're a pro. You're in the top 10 players in the world. But what's the real deal? How much Magic do you play, and how much time did you just spend, you know, playing the PlayStation, watching the DVDs, just sleeping? Well, come on, tell me truthfully, how much of a, quote, pro are you? And he said, well, you know, I'll get up maybe around 12 or 1, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, there's the stereotype confirmed. That's the Magic player. Welcome to noon. It's early. And he said, then I go down to a bar, and I have the same table and the same 2 chairs, and I have a friend who's always there with me, and we'll start playing maybe around 3 in the afternoon. And I said, okay, that's nice. What do you play? A couple of hours? And he said, well, depends how close we are to an event, but generally we might finish around, I don't know, 12 or 1. Okay, that appears to be 10 hours Magic.
Yep.
So, you know, how often would you do that? And he said, well, you know, 6, maybe 7 days a week. I'm like, okay, this kind of explains why you're there and I'm here.
Yep.
So, you know, fair play to him. But that really does mean he will know what he's up against. Here's Finkel with Wizen Sen out turn 2. The Dowser's down for Wafo. And still, Finkel, you wouldn't guess he's 2 up with a Wizen Sen in play. but he knows what kind of strong position he's in. Stony Brook Schoolmaster is up next for Wafatapa.
Good series of opens for Wafatapa. Having the 2-drop, having the 3-drop, especially a 3-drop that can clog up the ground like that. Definitely the type of opening that he was hoping for. It's like we said, his back's against the wall. That's what you're looking for, and that's exactly what he got.
Yeah, but what he is looking for is a way to get that guy tapped without having to go into the red zone.
Yep.
Right, so, Wafatapa untaps. Here we go with turn 4. Draws a card. Again, very solid. Another player who's just gone off tour to go to pastures new, Craig Jones. He was an absolute automaton when it came to what I might call the physical mechanics of the game. It didn't matter whether he was just about to die, whether he was on the verge of a victory. He would take exactly the same amount of time for drawing his card, untapping his lands, going through his upkeep. Have I got anything to do here? And that looks like one of the new cards. That's Research. Is that Research the Deep,
yeah,
I believe?
Research the Deep, yep. It's going to let Guillaume draw a card, and then they'll clash to see if he gets to buy it back.
Okay, so there's the clash. That looks like Zephyr on top of John Finkel's library.
Yep.
Wafatapa gets rid of whatever was there. And the Zephyr John keeps, presumably?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the right play. Having a 5/5 Vigilant Flyer is pretty handy.
Okay, so here comes Pestamite, end of turn, getting rid of the Dowser for a go.
Bit of a surprise there. Good thing to have for John in that situation. Allow him to get in a little bit.
And there you see John Finkel's hand, a couple of lands. I do love those Lorwyn lands. A fantastic idea. I believe it was Jeremy Jarvis, the art director, came up with the idea of pairs of lands. So if you've not done this at home with the 20 basic land, that they come in pairs. So you have these sort of mural effects as it goes from swamp to island, from plains to forest. And that's just an exquisite idea.
Yeah.
And the execution's great, of course, as usual. But I like those, and he's running some of those land.
It's neat, and it reminds you that Magic the Gathering isn't just about the Pro Tour or players battling at this highest level. It's also about loving the art, loving the stories, loving a number of other things that a ton of people at Wizards of the Coast put effort into the game. So.
Yeah, we went out to the Batu Caves, one of the great local attractions here. We took a couple of friends of yours, Brandon Shield, Matt Cheeks Hansen, and also Zach Hill. And Zach was saying, you know what, when I first discovered I loved Magic, I ripped open my first booster. It was Phantasmal Forces, the first ever card I saw with that incredible rainbow artwork. And you know, that's a guy who, he's only 21 now, but he's been playing Magic for the best part of a decade because of a Phantasmal Force.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Yep.
All right, so Wafatapa
draws his card for the turn, goes into the tank.
Does he look 2-0 up? Does he look 2-0 down? What about him? 2-0 up? 2-0 down? You've no clue, have you?
Nope, they're just playing cards. Any other match. Could be an F&M. Same mentality. Looks like Guillaume might be missing a land drop. It's tough to tell for certain, but he might not have another land in his hand despite drawing that extra card.
Yeah, that looks like a handful of spells.
Which normally would be something that you want to see, provided you could play him. But in this situation, John's about to unload. He's going to hit that critical 5th mana point, that threshold, and everything's going to come out, and it's not going to go well for
Wafatapa. Although that is nice because there's Weight of Conscience, and that does mean, and here we go, so this is what we said, we needed a place for him to be able to tap the Stony Brook Schoolmaster. He does that. Hooray, thank you very much. I'll have a token, Wiz and Sen in the bin. That was nice.
Absolutely.
Nonetheless, you're absolutely right. Without that 4th land, Wafatapa has a lot of spells at 4 and above. Remember, Fairy Harbinger, Merrow Harbinger, the Dream Spoiler Witches, Inspired Sprite, Distant Melody, the Plover Knights, Double Ether Snipe. This is not a deck that wants to sit at 3 mana. It really is not.
No, and you mentioned tapping the Schoolmaster, how Weight of Conscience is another way to do that that came from Morningtide. One of the other cards that a lot of the Merfolk players have been trying to draft this weekend is Moth Dust Changeling. Of course, that's the 1/1 shapeshifter for a blue that allows you to untap creatures you control to give it flying. Now, Guillaume doesn't have any, unfortunately for him, but it is one of those interesting cards that helped an archetype from Morningtide that we didn't have previously in Lorwyn.
Yeah, now, of course, Magic is a game of terms, and we bandy concepts around. And one of the words there, it's an enabler. So that's what we would call that, where it literally, here's a Moth Dust Changeling. By having it in play, it enables you to tap down the Stony Brook Schoolmaster and get on with doing good things like having free 1/1s.
Yep, and Antonino De Rosa, the Italian/American, just walked up to the booth, gave us a grin. I'm sure he wishes he could see how his buddy Pascoli's doing in the feature match area.
Absolutely. All right, so board position 2-0 to Finkel. Wafatapa's down to 14. Finkel at 20. And
Speak of the devil, Scott Johns from the feature match area. Mario Pascoli up 2-0.
Changeling Berserker coming smash, smash, smash. That's a real MVP for him so